This is Justin's Scoop on SPX. It is September 8th, Monday in 2025. And we had a really big candle Friday. So today makes sense. We had an inside day and a pretty small one at that. The range was about 25 points. We've had some small bear candles back here on July 28th. We had about 25 points. This one was about 25 points going back to July 8th and 28th. This one was a little smaller, closer to 21 points on July 24th. And then there's been some small bull candles. So like this one here was 17, 18 points. This was, that was still 35. That's decent. So smallest candle we've had in a little while and really kind of middle of the range from where we had traded intraday on Friday. So let's go look at intraday today and see kind of the framework we had. So I'm seeing there's kind of some downtrending here, kind of like that, and then it breaks out. Retest got a really nice hammer. This is a great setup right here. You just get in above that level, above that candle as it's moving through, and you just hang on for the ride and get out maybe after it put in here one, two, put in a couple bear candles, gets a little bit above that one, barely above that one, but you're losing premium and the options each time you do that. So that was pretty cool. Let's get rid of all that. Hey, look at that, it cleared. Then we've got kind of a bigger downtrend here, bigger channel down here, and we really just ended the day pretty flat, pretty sideways. Actually had a really nice kind of wave in here. The other thing I was going to point out is a double top and then a neckline. Kind of depends on how you draw that, but kind of a retest of a double top. Um, this is, it's not quite a shoulder, head, and a shoulder. I mean, if you did that, it'd be really wonky, but I don't know. If you want to draw it that way, I guess you could. So I'm going to zoom back out a little bit, and you can see some of the similarities onto the options. So here's that double top. You know, that orange just does not stand out on the white background. Let's try blue. How's that? That's a little better. Okay, so this looks much better of a double top retest. I like that a lot better. The Yeah, so technically that would be the double bottom for the put, and it really got going, came all the way back, and actually came right back into the lows. So that's a great place when you're putting in a level like this. If the option is around the same value as here, I mean, go for it, get in bullet or get in bearish, buy it is what I'm trying to say. Go long the put. So that would be a great setup to buy down here and then just sell when it's back around that level. That would have been a nice move from probably zero point 0.8 or something. I'm not sure what that is right now. 0.8 going up to maybe 1.8. That's a whole point move on the option. That's pretty good. I'm not sure where the stop would have been. Maybe just give it some room. So maybe zero point 0.8 by 0.4, and then you get a whole point. So you get up to 1.8. Look at me trying to draw. Um, this was zero point 0.8, we're assuming, and this is 0.4. So if you risk this amount, you risk 0.4 and you make 1. Uh, so that's actually a 2.5 to 1 risk, reward to risk. So that's pretty good setup. I like that one. What else are we seeing in here? We had that wave later in the day, but it was really challenging to make any money on that. Um, so this lower wick here made that upper wick here. And you got another one over here and this here. Those were good signals to get out of the puts. This was definitely not the right strike to be in for calls because it hardly moved later in the day. I mean, it did that, and then kind of petered out there. So you'd have to be looking at a call option closer to the money. to make something like that work. I thought I was going to kind of see some more similarities with kind of some downtrend. I guess that kind of works. But for the put, surprisingly, it was relatively flat here, if I could draw straight. Relatively flat here. And then this was actually increasing. So you kind of have some similarities in that downtrending, losing premium value on the call. So these kind of kind of match up. But then each time it kind of came back up to this high range, that was the place to be buying. So probably, what I just drew out, buying at like zero point 0.8 probably worked again here. Buy at zero point 0.8, stop down at zero point 0.4, and just let it ride. And if you did that here and let that ride up one, and then you did it again here, let it ride up one to 1.8, you could have done 2.5 twice of the same option. I don't like trading the same option just because it can cause you to have wash sale issues if it were to sell for a loss, or if you buy one and you make a profit and then you give up profit and you close the other one for a loss. I think that still affects wash sale. I'm not sure. But I try and avoid having a second trade with the same option. Even like an add and reduce, I don't like doing that with the same option. I would rather have a different option just because it makes it a completely different entity for tax purposes. But consult your CPA on those things. Don't just take someone's advice on YouTube for that. So, uh, yeah, this is kind of what I'm seeing. Just some interesting levels, even on a very small candle. Range bound candle of 25 points today. You still had some decent moves with options. And this is just looking at the options at the quarters. So 0, 25, 50, 75. Those are the ones I like to look at for stuff like this. Just easy to focus on those. And those strikes were, 6,500 and, 64.75. It's not even, we're a little below that, but you can see there was still some values there. So if you come back in here and look at like the 64.85 and the 64.95 and see what were those options doing? We were right into at the money on both of these. That might be worth looking at sometime. So, um, yeah, if you're looking at options, trying to study these yourself, then take a look at those. Those are another, 10 points closer on the put, 5 points closer on the call, and might see something different. There was definitely some movement later in the day with this rally because we've been having rallies at the end of the day on most days. Going back the last 5 days now, I remember seeing them. So all 5 of these days, there's been some sort of rally in the last hour or 45 minutes or 30 minutes or something. And we got it again today. Um, Probably about a 30-minute rally there with some pullbacks, but about 30 minutes of it moving generally in the upward direction. So we'll be looking at the calls and what you can do in that amount of time. Now, it's not going to happen every day, but if that works a few days, great. If it stops working and it just chops sideways the last 30 minutes of the day, then the option's going to lose. So only risk what you're okay to lose. Do absolute zero. So if you're risking $100, you're going to put $100 on that option. You're not going to have a stop. Now, if it's not doing anything at the end of the day, you can just get out for a few cents. And, if you want a round trip trade, otherwise just leave it and it'll expire worthless, most likely. Always still have an order in for like zero point 0.1, zero point 0.05 just to see if the option were to move in the money. That is one interesting thing. So with the 64.95 call that actually closed in the money because of where we are at on the daily at the end of the day here, 64.95.15. So if you still had a 64.95 call open right at the end of the day, it was in the money. And that means the market or the your worker has to do something to your account. Um, so yeah, just be careful on anything like that happening to your account. Just get out of the option when you still can, while the market's open. And if you want something to happen to your account, then just leave it. But make sure you have enough money in there to cover whatever that is your broker's going to do. And call them if you don't know what that actually means, how that's going to work. So anyway, A number more things I could talk about today, but I didn't want to go too long on this one. Hope this helps. This is Justin. Thanks.